JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, police investigating shooting death of Clarendon man. Investigators are still trying to ascertain the circumstances surrounding the death of 32-year-old Sandre Sharier, otherwise called Biggs, a resident of Racecourse, Clarendon. The unemployed man was found Tuesday morning with gunshot wounds to his left eye, neck, and upper body. According to the police report, shortly after 1 a.m., residents reported hearing loud explosions. They began a search at daybreak and found Sharier's body outside the back door of his house and called the police. Sharier, who lived on Fisher Road in Kempsell, was found lying on his back, clad in dark grey shorts and a long-sleeved t-shirt. The police say no motive has yet been established for his killing. Trilogy wanted man turned self-in, charged. One of 9 men who were listed as wanted by a lawman in Trilogy last week turned himself into the police on Monday. He's 64-year-old Junior Clark, otherwise called Tick Chess, a labourer from Bunkers Hill in the parish, who was wanted for a stabbing incident that occurred almost 2 years ago. Head of the Trilogy Police Division, Superintendent Carlos Russell, said that Clark made contact with the police and subsequently handed himself over. He has since been charged with wounding with intent, Superintendent Russell said. He'll appear in court next Wednesday. The incident for which Clark is charged occurred in the Friendship District, Trilogy, on April 24, 2020. It is reported that at about 3:30 a.m., Clark and a woman, with whom he shared an intimate relationship, got into an altercation after he accused her of still being involved with her ex-husband. During the altercation, a knife was used to stab the woman in her left shoulder, causing a wound that bled. She was subsequently taken to the hospital where she was admitted for several days. Following police investigations, a warrant was issued for Clark, but he was never found. Russell encouraged the other wanted men to follow Clark's example and also turn themselves in. Trilogy brothers charged for killing uncle, granted $400,000 bail. The 2 Trilogy brothers charged with the murder of their uncle in an altercation over a chicken farm have each been granted $400,000 bail. Shamaria Green and Mikhail Hyam were ordered to report to the police once weekly, and a stop order was also imposed. In applying for bail today, their attorney Abel Dunfoot argued that his clients acted in self-defense. He argued that the deceased was armed with a machete, which he raised to inflict injury to the men, but his attempt was thwarted by the preemptive strike by one of the accused. He further argued that the accused men were in fear of their lives and acted lawfully. The judge upheld the application and granted bail. The matter is to be mentioned on May 2. Clive Clark, otherwise called Ketty, a labourer of Troy, Trilogy, was killed shortly after 2 p.m. on Sunday, February 20. It has been alleged that he had travelled to his sister's house where he and his 2 nephews got involved in a dispute over stolen chickens from the woman's coop. It reportedly escalated into a physical confrontation when Clark allegedly attacked his nephews with a machete and was hit on his head with a plank. Clark fell to the ground unconscious and was rushed to the Percy General Hospital in Manchester, where he later died while being treated. The police were summoned on upon arrival. Both brothers were taken into custody in connection with their uncle's death. World War II bomb discovered in Manchester. A World War II bomb was on Tuesday found by a group of men in Newley Close in Mandeville, Manchester, during the excavation of a fish pond. Commanding officer of the Manchester Police, Superintendent Lloyd Darby, said the bomb was discovered about 1 p.m. The police later alerted. He said members of the Jamaica Defence Force JDF were subsequently called in by the police, who retrieved the bomb with the intention to have it detonated in Vernon Field in Clarendon. Darby said that it is yet to be determined how the bomb, which was seemingly there for decades and buried very deep, got to the location. However, he said the men who found the bomb ought to be commended for their awareness and interest in public safety. These things seem to have a long-term life, and so it was handled very carefully. Not because it is old, it means it can't go off. It may not go off with the same power as when it was new, but it could still do damage, he said. Darby added that based on information from JDF experts, even in its current state, the bomb posed a risk. We're grateful that nothing happened. Suspect charged in relation to fatal chopping in Portland. The suspect who was being sought for the chopping death of a 26-year-old man in Shrewsbury, Portland last week Thursday, has been arrested and charged. Carvel Blackett, a 30-year-old farmer of Bins Lane in Shrewsbury, was charged with murder on Tuesday. Tyrone Thompson, a Mason from the community, was attacked about 2 a.m. on March 3 after leaving a party in Fruitful Vale. It was reported that Thompson and a man got into an argument at the party. Thompson left the venue and was walking home when he was attacked. He was chopped and later pronounced dead at hospital. St. Elizabeth police seized 109 rounds of ammunition and $3.3 million worth of ganja. The police in St. Elizabeth are rejoicing after special operations across the parish resulted in the siege of 109 rounds of ammunition, 828 pounds of ganja, and one gun in 3 separate operations over the last 48 hours. The first operation on Monday led to the search of a premises along Central Road in Black River and the discovery of 109.22 cartridges. The second operation continued at the Parrot Beach on Tuesday. The police say about 4 a.m. during the operation, 17 knitted bags containing ganja, 1 boat, 2 boat engines, and 7 barrels of gasoline were seized. The drugs weighed approximately 828 pounds and has an estimated street value of 3.3 million Jamaican dollars. Later Tuesday, a premises in Burnt Savannah district was searched and 1 9mm pistol was seized. No arrest was made in connection with any of the seizures. The St. Elizabeth police is appealing to anyone with information that can assist in their investigations to contact the Black River Police at 876-965-2236, Police 119 emergency number, or Crime Stopper 311. Higher fuel prices will affect cost of electricity, says JPS. The Jamaica Public Service JPS is raising an alarm that rising fuel prices in the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine will affect the cost of electricity in Jamaica. The Light and Power Company knows that Jamaica is heavily dependent on imported oil and natural gas for the production of electricity, as well as for transportation and manufacturing. JPS Chief Financial Officer Vernon Douglas points out that the war in Ukraine means fuel is much more expensive and there's less of it, underscoring that the prices of both oil and natural gas have increased since last year. Douglas believes that they'll increase much more now. A higher fuel cost means higher electricity cost. We have to pay more to the fuel suppliers. We have no choice. Fuel makes up about half of customers' electricity bills, so the changes from one month to the next can be quite significant, he said. JPS says it is also concerned about the possible shortage of fuel for Jamaica. The company says it has started discussions with its fuel suppliers, Petrojam and New Forest Energy, to assess their ability to meet the country's fuel needs. Our suppliers are exploring all options to secure fuel to keep the lights on. There could be a global fuel shortage as sanctions tighten on Russia. As a small country, Jamaica could be badly affected. We'll have to work together to get through this global crisis, said Douglas. Meanwhile, the JPS CFO says he's relieved that the government plans to cushion the impact of increasing energy costs on the most vulnerable. He is hoping that the government will also suspend the fuel and electricity sales tax GCT to further ease the burden on consumers during this difficult time. Jamaica reports 80 new COVID cases, 4 deaths. Jamaica reported 80 new cases of the COVID-19 and 4 fatalities on Tuesday, according to the latest statistics from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. This pushed the total number of cases of the virus since the start of the pandemic to 128,246 and the death toll to 2,835. Of the newly reported cases, there were 12 females and 6 males, with ages ranging from 1 year to 82 years. The cases were recorded in St. James 8, Kingston and St. Andrew 4, St. Catherine 4, Clarendon 1, and Manchester 1. Meanwhile, the latest deaths include 2 men ages 78 and 83 from St. Catherine, and a 64-year-old male from Westmoreland whose deaths were recorded in March 2022, a 96-year-old woman from St. Catherine whose death was recorded in February 2022 was also among the latest deaths. The country also recorded 50 new recoveries, bringing the total number to 78,996. The positivity rate for the latest round of testing was 3.9%. There are 81 people hospitalized, 2 of them critically ill. There are 346 confirmed active cases on the island. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.